There's a problem in the gaming industry. It seems like all of us only get excited for the biggest and the best projects, the AAA experiences with hundreds of millions of dollars of budget. Well, today I want to tell you about a tinier indie game made by just a small group of people, but it really managed to blow me away. I've played 35 hours of Biomutant at this point. I've done tons of side quests. I've unlocked multiple endings. I've seen every single corner of this world, and I really enjoyed it. So let me try and tell you today about why this game is great, even if it doesn't say the gigantic name like Resident Evil or Final Fantasy in it. What's up, gamers? Dreamcastguy here, and let's go into this review. Let's begin by breaking down the story of Biomutant itself. So we're playing as our own little custom character. Since I'm very excited for God of War, I decided to make basically furry Kratos. I even gave myself a nice red eye to try and match the aesthetic, and cranked up my strength stat to like 1,000,000. Now when you play this game, as you progress through this different areas, going along, doing different quests and stuff, you get a chance to further tinker with your stats and your playstyle. Now personally, I decided to go a classic hack and slash build, making it so I could dual wield daggers and constantly just be knifing people wherever I came across them. But there's basically 3 different main styles of play in this. There's magic, there's long range, which is basically your crazy guns, and then there's the stuff I'm doing, which is just bashing people to bits with your short range weaponry. Now let's talk a bit about why we're doing this. The basic gist of this is that we exist in this completely stunning world. Like straight up, I love the graphics of this, but more than that, I've never complimented this before, but I love the colorization in this. Everything is almost painfully beautiful at times, just overly vibrant colors. Grass so green it pops off the screen, or things when you're in an underground cave, there's this beautiful blue hue off these mysterious glowing stalactites. Like, the game really tries to have this weird mutation to natural art, and there's a reason for that. So we exist in a world that's on the brink of destruction. The apocalypse is coming, and at this point, this planet is very much doomed unless we can stop it. There's these 4 gigantic creatures that are roaming across the land and tainting it, called the World Eaters. But along with this, there's unfortunately been a gigantic civil war. All the remaining clans, the different factions of cute, cuddly killers, have all decided to turn against each other, from the master ninjas that I like to hang out with, called the Jagni, to these hippies that like to stand out in the woods and talk about peace and love. Now the point of this game is 2 separate things at once: to try and unite the clans and make sure you can work together to save the world, and of course attempting to kill the World Eaters to stave off the imminent destruction of our land. Now, why is this game great? Now, on the surface right now, this kind of looks very basic. What makes this game stand out, in my opinion, is just how incredibly tight everything is. As you go through these landscapes, you keep having to do just the most direct problem in front of you, whether it is taking over another base, dominating another fort, trying to make peace with the next tribe, or sometimes just doing a random side quest. Now, part of what makes this game definitely appealing is I really love the combat. Like, constantly, seriously, never once did I run from a fight. Even 30 hours into this, at this point I'm pretty much max level, I can just decimate even gigantic foes, and yet I still would not run. I would still stop, get off my mount, and take on every single freaking time I encountered people, because it's still just so fun. In a lot of ways, the combat in this game reminds me so much of the PlayStation 4 God of War game, because it is about timing, it's about dodging and parrying an attack, but it's also about sometimes just ruthless savagery. It's about getting inside your opponent's card and ripping them to shreds before they get a chance to fight back. I like the fact that this is one of those games that makes it where the world feels like a weapon, both with the things we're finding, the upgrades we're creating, the gear we're making, but also sometimes it's nice to walk into an environment and see people fighting each other. The wildlife, gigantic mutants that exists, will actually be attacking soldiers, and you can use this to your advantage. I like the fact that everything feels like such a scrappy, desperate fight. Now let me talk a bit more about the gear itself. Because this is an RPG, you're constantly managing to upgrade yourself little by little, getting different talents, crafting a new piece of armor, and of course doing things like just upgrading your raw stats. While many of you are probably probably going to start off as a similar style of character with a very small specificity to your style of play. As you go into this, the options of being able to upgrade what you love most are very, very deep, especially if you do the side quests. There is a lot of stuff in this game that allows you to go like, okay, you're currently having 1,000,000 freaking strength. Well, if you go into this dungeon, you can try and find weights to lift, because yes, seriously, you could do that. Or sometimes you'll just find additional hidden treasure chests with legendary loot that allow you to do, 70 billion two-hander damage. I'm throwing out random numbers here because part of what I like about this game is that it's not always about the stats. It is about your ability to wield these weapons. Now, I like this game, but there is some downsides to it. The biggest problem with this game is that at times it is definitely too ambitious. Like, there is a very dedicated story inside of this game about basically global warming. And you know what? I don't have a problem with putting stuff about global warming messaging into a game. That's definitely fine. But after a while, they just stop talking about it. Like, early on, they're talking about the fact that the reason the world did get screwed up originally is because of this, Texaco-style company polluting the environment and creating a bunch of mutants in the process. And, that's great. But after a while, you can go super evil in this game. There's a morality system, and I kind of think that they maybe should not have done the morality system. And the reason why is because you can go so pointlessly, freaking chaotically insane in this game, until the point at which you're pretty much butchering orphans, burning villages yourself. It makes it where if the message of this starts off as we should save the trees, it's weird that you have the option to literally burn the trees. Like, I don't understand the point of having a game that starts off, kind of having this idea of, hey, we should do what's best for the world and stop the world eaters. And then it ends with, all right, screw it, torch this place, let the ashes grow again. Like, it just seems weird to have the option of having a game that feels so bright and so happy and then just turns to utter bloodshed. Like, straight up, if you go evil in this and if you decide to unite with the more evil tribes, you can, I'm not going to say the word, but there is a G word that means killing everybody off. You can march across the land and butcher thousands of the most cute, cuddly people you have ever seen in your life. Like, it's crazy to me the depths of darkness in this game, and I feel like it goes a bit too far, because going from such a bright idea, from like this bright and colorful world, to just scorched earth feels like a bit of a leap. Now, I managed to beat this game about 2 weeks before it came out, and strangely there's been this technical controversy that's popped up onto the internet, because the developers have now confirmed that this game only runs at 1080p on the PlayStation 5, which is what I'm playing it on. And I'll just be completely honest here, I can't notice. Like, just while playing this game, there was never a time where I went, oh my god, this is fake 4K. So if you're trying to get the biggest and best version, it does seem like this game is probably going to theoretically run better on an Xbox Series X or the PC version, but on PlayStation 5, even now, like, I never noticed any resolution or frame rate dips. It looks great, it runs great, there's no load times or anything. Like, the game still runs incredibly good, but if you're looking for the best of the best version, keep in mind that this is a tinier development team, and they definitely did the best with what they had. Now, the other issue I ran into is a bit more about the budget, because there are sections of this that are disappointingly limited. Now, for a lot of the game, you're getting a chance to explore very, very freely. You can choose where you want to go, the next quest you want to handle, and even just parts of the map you're trying to take over. You also get these crazy vehicles during the course of the main stories. You get like a jet ski, a gigantic robot with an air filtration system, so you can try and clean up some of the most toxified sections of the map. The ability to constantly progress both on foot and in these different vehicles is very, very fun, but occasionally they just don't work. There's sections of this map that straight up do not allow you to use the vehicles you've unlocked, and this leads to some very clunkiness at times. Like, at one point I was trying to cross this bridge, and suddenly I see, like, okay, how am I supposed to cross this gap? I can't summon my jet ski, I can't swim it, it's way too far, what am I supposed to do? do? Well, suddenly I see this gunboat in the water, and it seems totally obvious. I should kill the driver, steal his boat, and drive it to safety. But the game just doesn't let you do that. It lets me murder the guy, but I couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't just actually cross this ocean in the way that I desired. And this kind of stuff happens here and there, which is that the designers are definitely a tinier studio, and they definitely just pictured a specific way to solve each puzzle. When you go into the buildings of this game, it's clear that there is a defined path that you're supposed to walk down. There is a singular vision as to the way you're supposed to solve these puzzles and go onward. Now, to me, that's not a problem, but it makes me wish, with the game being so freeform when it comes to the combats, the ability to make my own personal hero as nice or evil or chaotic as I want, the fact that there's this rigidness at times to how we have to play it, to me is a bit of a letdown. But I guess that's just the constraints of a smaller team working on a smaller budget in such a big world. Even still, I completely enjoyed this game. I'm actually kind of just impressed by how much they managed to cram in. So many different endings, so many different variations to this land, so many different biomes, different areas, from frozen wastes to nuclear dump sites. Like, this game has such a wide range of variety in it, and still, I'm so incredibly glad I played it. I want to go back and do the last couple side quests and try and get that platinum trophy, because I love most of this experience. Okay, so we've heard some good and some bad, but let's go over the ratings board and put a big number on it. I am giving Biomutant an 8.5 out of 10. If you have it in the budget this month and you want to try something different, I highly recommend you pick this game up. I like the fact that it manages to feel like something that hasn't been done before. I like the fact that it takes this kind of cutesy art style, these cool little creatures, and then makes them do the most evil, awful, insane things. It's actually entertaining, if for nothing else, just for that. Thanks so much for watching, gamers. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all, and keep dreaming. Oh my gosh, I recorded so much of this game. Sometimes I like to try and record like little sections of fights. I accidentally recorded so many hours just running around and having a blast in this game. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.